So with hidden inventory all wrapped up and concluded with the episode last week, I now had the time to just go back and look through this latest season and what Mappa cooked up for us. My thoughts really haven't changed all much regarding this season. It's straight fire, peak, and I couldn't have asked for a much better anime adaptation. However, it got me thinking a little bit about the future of this series and everything about it as a whole. This season provided in all aspects, from storytelling to direction, everything was great, but Jujutsu Kaisen's strong suit for a lot of people is how good its fights are. The fights in JJK are, from what I've seen, are commonly regarded as some of the best in new gen and even anime and manga as a whole once you dissect stuff like its choreography and stuff. And with hidden inventory, just like I said in my previous videos, the battle sequences just keep one-upping themselves and continue to get better as we develop further into the story, which begs the question of how good can Jujutsu Kaisen fights get? What exactly is the ceiling for the series? I've watched JJK season 1, then I jumped straight into the manga and I read all the current content weekly, which at every turn drops banger after banger, especially with the current fight that's taken the community by storm. But for me personally, and probably a lot of others out there, after watching hidden inventory and seeing a damn near perfect anime adaptation, the fights are just exponentially better than the manga version, and that holds so much weight, especially if you've seen how goated the fights are in the manga. Just like with the story and conveying the exact feelings the manga gave off, Mappa goes fucking dummy on the fights in this series. I can't tell you how many jaw-dropping moments I had when watching some of the fights in this arc. Of course, the two notable ones are Geto vs Toji and the two Gojo fights that happen in the middle and end, but both those fights was a straight shock to me, even though I've obviously read what happens in the manga. The original content that gets sprinkled throughout the fights, along with that cracked animation style that brought forth even flashy and dynamic action sequences that we saw in season 1, like when Toji first started showcasing his abilities, makes these already masterclass fights that much better. Even before Jujutsu Kaisen fights got to this point, we still got incredible stuff from season 1 that still gets me hyped to this day. Gojo from frame 1 was shown to be that guy. We saw it from when he beat up Sukuna, pretty much toying with him, but his fight against Jogo was another beast entirely. My man was getting taunted with every move and there was absolutely nothing he could do to scratch Gojo. Even though at that point we didn't know the full extent of Special Grade's powers like we do now with characters like Hanami and Mahito, seeing Jogo get bullied and bitched by Gojo while showing off his abilities like Red and Infinity was madness. Not only did he smack up a Special Grade within this fight with no issue, but he even taught a lesson to Yuji in the process, busting out his domain expansion and destroying Jogo with Unlimited Void, which still to this day is the coolest domain expansion in the series, only really rivaled by Sukuna's for me. But as gas as this fight was, it obviously only touches the surface of how good JJK fights can get, and it's safe to say that for season 1, the fights peak at Todo and Yuji vs Hanami. That 2 vs 1 that JJK does so well with the goated duo of Yuji and Todo, along with Yuji finally getting his time to shine, getting exponentially stronger here with learning Black Flash and slamming 3-part combos onto Hanami was cool as fuck. It's the biggest fight we've seen at that point and a massive checkpoint for Yuji at the time, plus the choreography here is still probably the best thing we've seen including season 2, which is saying something. The way he helped Yuji tap into his flow state and learn more about Jujutsu was so cool, and his curse technique Boogie Woogie I think it's called, is one of the most simple things in JJK all things considered, but still such a goated move. The fight had a lot to offer, and Todo's speech where he says he's got like 53,000 IQ or something ridiculous like that might actually be true when you look back and consider his feats, like reducing his cursed energy so Hanami's attack doesn't affect him, which he figured out in 0.01 seconds from seeing a glimpse of it affecting Megumi. Pure action, great development for Yuji, and a cool 2 vs 1. The fight was really dope and by far the best fight in season 1, but Gege hits the lead from the tuning exams with the weights and really goes crazy with the rest of the story. With hidden inventory, the first attack from Toji I don't think you can even call a fight really. Toji kinda just washed Gojo without breaking a sweat, but it for sure went above and beyond, giving us all the goal we could possibly ask for, with Toji stabbing Gojo more times than I could even count. And we even got some cold Sakuga with Gojo using blue and Toji flinging across the map. Everyone who's read this fight was waiting for that round 2 because it's obviously the biggest highlight of the arc, and my god was it incredible. Gojo has always been a goofball and somewhat of a weirdo, but him coming back delirious like that in his return was so damn good. My man comes back from the dead, all his friends are most likely killed, and he's currently just laughing in the face of the man who caused this all. One of the most iconic starters to a fight in recent times and a great way to kick off round 2, especially because of how Gojo ended up surviving in that life or death situation he was in before. He pulls up to Toji, not just surviving the assassination attempt but also becoming the strongest sorcerer of the modern time, learning the most busted technique with RCT or reverse curse technique, allowing him to use red on Toji, a technique that he obviously failed and couldn't use before, and his most famous move outside the domain expansion that we got to see in season 1, Hollow Purple. The fight was of course peak, it had the great action, great voice acting, hype, all the good stuff, but the Hollow Purple still, after seeing it for the millionth time, never ceases to amaze me, man. The way they conveyed Gojo learning the core of cursed energy before fading into his attack, which is just a giant flash of purple, wasn't the most crazy, destructive thing ever like we saw in season 1 that quite literally destroyed the entire forest, but it was honestly the perfect way to introduce this move and conclude the battle. Also, the OST behind it was just chef's kiss. This was a very different approach to the manga, as the manga kind of paneled the page in a creative way to show the Hollow Purple hitting Toji, but yeah, the anime did wonders for this moment and surpassed the manga beautifully. Obviously the best fight in the anime so far, and it's not even just a one-man show of Gojo getting the spotlight. Toji's conclusion here was also fire, and the voice acting performance for that moment of Toji's voice being at its softest was also a really cool addition as well. It's actually crazy to me how people disregard this fight and call it trash because it didn't follow the manga one for one. This round 2 was one of the best the manga has to offer, and I can comfortably say that Mappa killed it here. Even with the Toji Geto fight that happened before, that was probably the wildest fight in the season because of Toji bodying giant cursed spirits and using a pistol to attack Geto. I was looking forward to the Gojo fight the most, of course, but the Geto beef was so heat and probably the biggest surprise of this season because of how well executed it was. Hidden Inventory showed the levels that JJK can reach, and Shibuya, which is the next arc in the story, is the most action dense part of JJK. There is fights from beginning to end, and it almost never gives you the time to breathe when experiencing it, so if all goes well from Mappa's end, this arc and more importantly the fights itself are bound to be generational. Some quick spoilers here, so if you're anime only, skip to the timestamp shown on screen, but for my manga readers out there, seeing Yuji vs Mahito animated is gonna be ridiculous. Shibuya is packed to the brim with fights like Gojo vs the Special Grades, Yuji vs Choso, Toji going crazy against Dagon, and of course Sukuna's Rampage, but the Mahito fight is the one that's just a tier above the rest. The action there is crazy, along with the plot twist Gege throws at you like when Nobara got hit and Todo came through, but the development from Yuji was the peak of the fight. Him getting completely broken by Mahito in so many different ways, leading to his evolution and getting back for Nanami and all the others Mahito killed was just raw. After this fight, Mahito cemented himself as JJK's best antagonist, and even though we are like 100 chapters deep from then, he's still alone at the top for me. JJK fights reach that next caliber here and just keep going all the way to the current chapters, to be honest, because Gojo vs Sukuna is the most technical and advanced fight in the series with two characters that was destined to fight from the start of the manga. It's already great, but if it lands on a good conclusion, which it most likely will judging from how the fight's shaping up so far, it can easily be the best fight in the series. Shibuya has a shot at cementing JJK as one of the best to ever do it with the battle sequences, and I genuinely can't wait to see what's in store for us in the coming weeks. You want hands, 2v1s, insane twists, this arc has it all and so much more. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for this video. Once Shibuya drops, I'm for sure gonna make videos dedicated to certain fights because some of them are straight insanity. Thank you for watching, leave a like and subscribe for more JJK content and anything else I feel like talking about, and I'll catch you in my next video. Peace.